They only have Chris has a select board meeting, so he's got a really short window, so.
Okay.
We're
So we
better
should
than
go
the
through
select
it.
board though, so that's fine.
Okay.
We're
So,
Okay.
okay. Good evening and welcome. I'm Natasha Spada, Chair of the Needham Planning Board, and I'm calling the February 25th, 2025 Planning Board meeting to order. This meeting of the Planning Board is being conducted in a virtual manner today, consistent with current state regulations, and is being recorded. As a reminder, this meeting is being broadcast to the town's YouTube channel and also via Zoom and by the Needham channel, and is being recorded for publication, later viewing, and administrative purposes. All materials for this meeting are available at the town's meeting website, needhamma.gov. I'll call the roll for the record. When I call your name, please say you're present. Paul Alpert,
Present.
Adam Block,
Present.
Artie Crocker,
Present.
Justin McCullen,
Present.
and with us today is our staff, Lee Newman and Alex Berkeley.
Present.
Great. And so we have four items. We have the decision, the discussion and vote to submit the select board zoning bylaw and zoning map changes to the floor plan district. We have meeting minutes, a report from planning board and board members, and correspondence. And with that, I want to make sure that we have Christopher Heap, who's joining us.
Hello.
Our council. And we should just move forward with a discussion and vote to submit to the select board the zoning bylaw and zoning map changes to the floodplain. And I'm sure that Chris and Thomas Ryder, who's joining us right now, can guide us through this, right?
Yes, I believe we can. I guess I'll start. This happens from time to time. We received notice from the federal government that there have been updates to their mapping of the floodplains in town. When that happens, they send us new maps and require that we update the zoning bylaws to include the new maps showing the updated floodplain designations. In addition to that, there the federal regulations on how to regulate floodplains change from time to time. And this time around, when we got the notice that there were new maps being sent, there was also a notice that we needed to update the terms of the zoning bylaw itself to be consistent with current federal regulation. So we got that notice, and I believe we have until July to accomplish those changes to the zoning bylaw. I will say that there is published in Massachusetts a model floodplain bylaw that is intended to capture all of the things that a zoning bylaw needs to do in order to be compliant with federal regulations. And there is professional staff at the state who are responsible for evaluating zoning amendments for consistency with federal law for the federal government. So when we got the notice, Lee shared the current zoning bylaw with the relevant official at the state and solicited some feedback on what we needed to do, in his opinion, to bring the bylaw into compliance. He was nice enough, and we see this in other towns as well, to provide us with an itemized list of what changes needed to be made to bring the bylaw into compliance. So what you have in your packet for the proposed set of zoning amendments is our attempt to take the guidance that we received from the state in terms of updating the zoning bylaw, do that in many cases by bringing in sections from the Massachusetts model bylaw that they recommended we incorporate. Again, those sections exist in the model bylaw to demonstrate compliance with the federal regulations, which is what we ultimately need to do here. So that is what you have in front of you. Again, we have existing floodplain zoning on the books, but this set of zoning amendments in your packet is response to the notice from the federal government and the guidance we received from the state on what we needed to bring in for the first time from the model bylaw in order to achieve compliance. So that's happy to answer any questions, but that's and Tom, let me know if you think I missed anything. Lee is please you as well. But that's the explanation of why we're here tonight and why you have a set of zoning amendments in your packet.
So I thank you, Chris. And I saw that not only were the zoning bylaws and there were red marked the areas that you were changing, but then also the marks with the two years on top of each other. Does anyone on the board have any questions?
I
Paul?
haven't checked any changes to the packet. Lee, you do something about those two
I,
section numbers.
I have done that, Paul. I did not update the packet to reflect it, but the discrepancies in it I fixed.
Okay, thank you. I'm all set.
Okay. So what, Lee, what do we need to do?
Well, I think we need to, schedule a public hearing on these zoning amendments. And so I think where the goal is to schedule the public hearing on March, I think the 27th, which is a Thursday. So tonight you need to vote to send these articles to the boards of select board so that they can act at their meeting on March 11th and refer them back for purposes of holding that hearing on March the 27th.
So
Okay.
moved.
Second,
Okay, so Justin made the motion to send it to the select board. Paul seconded. So all in favor, say aye, and I'm gonna call you each one at a time, right? Because we're virtual. So Artie Crocker,
Aye.
Paul Alpert,
aye,
Adam Block,
you're muted. There you
I
go.
know. Just getting it unmuted. Aye.
Justin McCullen.
Aye.
And I, the chair, so it's unanimous to move it forward to the select board. Anything else, Lee? And
Not relative to those zoning articles. I think that's what we needed to accomplish tonight.
okay. Thank you. So thank you, Chris. I know you're going to another meeting. Thank you,
Thank-
Thomas.
Thank you all. Good to see you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Howard.
you.
Thanks, Kristen.
So the second item that we have are the minutes. We have minutes from January 21st and from February 4th. So is there a motion for approval for the January 21st?
I make a motion to approve the minutes. If there's no other, if my other colleagues on the board didn't have any other revisions, then I might make a motion to pass the January minutes.
Second.
So a motion made by Justin, seconded by Adam. All in favor, say aye. Artie Crocker,
Aye.
Paul Alpert,
Aye,
Adam Block,
Aye.
Justin McCullen,
Aye.
and I, the chair, also. So motion passed unanimously. And then the February 4th. Is there a motion to pass those?
So moved.
So
Ooh.
second.
Justin and Adam again. All in favor, say aye. Artie Crocker,
Aye.
Paul Alpert,
aye,
Adam Block,
Aye.
Justin McCullen,
Aye.
and I, the chair. So both of those meeting minutes are approved. And then we have report from planning director and board members. Before that, I just wanted we have two pieces of correspondence. One that I saw, one was from EOHLC, the approval of the action plan that Lee's probably gonna talk about. And then February 2nd, David Bruska sent correspondence as well. So I assumed, Lee, that you were gonna talk a little bit about receiving that action plan approval, right?
Yes, we did, I did submit the action plan to the state and they have now formally approved it. So we are in compliance until the July date at which we have to have this work completed. And so we're on schedule. You've held the public hearing and you voted your recommendation to town meeting. And it's now on the warrant for the May annual town meeting. So we're on schedule for all of that. I just want to follow up on I probably should have mentioned this just so you know, in terms of the floodplain zoning, we are coordinating with DCR. Now that you've voted these articles, I am going to send them over to DCR and have them take a final look just to make sure we're accomplishing everything that they need for us to accomplish relative to this, so that after the zoning is actually adopted in the spring, when it comes to them for their final sign off and approval, they've done a pre-review of those articles. So I'm going to follow a similar process on that to what we did under the MBTA Communities Act.
Great. Adam, you had a question. It looked like your hand was up.
Yeah, thank you. So my question was in regards to, I think, what Alex, you had sent around earlier about Rentham and the determination that was made by the office of the Attorney General,
No, the auditor.
the auditor
Auditor.
for the Attorney General.
The Attorney General says the auditor's all wet. She went public the next day and said the auditor's wrong.
So that's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
So what's the significance of the Attorney General's statement? They're the senior attorney for the.
I tried, this is not something that I was totally familiar with. When the statute was first passed, and we got started with reviewing it, I had a chat with Ron Ruth, and at that time, he and I both agreed that this was probably an unfunded mandate.
For sure, I remember talking about that.
Yeah, and I tried to understand the law on unfunded mandates and got totally confused. And with the Rentham decision, which I read, the decision, I took another look at what I could find on unfunded mandates, and I will say it's as clear as mud. So according to the decision, they cite a case which I did take a quick look at. It seemed to indicate that the only remedy that a town has for an unfunded mandate is to go to Superior Court to get an order to have the Commonwealth pay
Pay
the money.
for. Yeah.
And so it's not like it wipes out the statute. It's not like it wipes out the Communities Act. Although the auditor's letter seemed to indicate that that might be a possibility because they didn't fund any money at the time that they passed the statute. I don't know where they got that, to be honest. I didn't see that in my reading of the statute, but still. So, then it becomes a town by town decision about whether or not to go to court
To fund a mandate.
to fund the mandate. And I don't even really know how much money the town is out because of it.
Right.
I don't know, we really, we've spent some money to hire a
Consultants.
consultant
Yeah.
help us draft this. That didn't cost us a lot of money. We
Our
have,
time.
yes, which is
Well,
very,
we actually received a grant from the state that covered a big chunk of the
Right.
cost for the consultant. So we
Which
we
was-
supplemented that.
which was part of the state's rebuttal, which was that they have funded a lot of towns with these grants for the passing of the zoning. So I don't know, even without the Attorney General disagreeing with the state auditor, that it really matters much as a practical matter if the town's not going to go to Superior Court to do something about it.
I wasn't sure if the developer also had the option to compel the state to pay for infrastructure if it was required. And
No, I don't think a private party would have the right to go to court. I think the town would have to say, okay, we have to foot the bill and we're gonna go to the state to get the money to pay for it. But again, that's only down the road, once you have a developer who's putting in a project and you determine that there's work to be done.
they don't do it, and the town doesn't do some of it if it chooses to.
Right.
So that's why I was hoping Chris would stay for a minute longer to give us a little more insight into this. But Paul, that was excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you both. Any other reports or any other questions?
Sure, I'll give a quick report. We had a meeting last night of the town manager's search committee. We were in executive session. There's really a lot that I can there's not much that I can say privately. I'll just say that we had multiple resumes that were sent to us. Some of them were excellent. So some of them not so good. You know, they got, we have an excellent consultant who is coordinating this. He really knows his stuff. He presented it to us to begin with. He separated out the resumes in 3 batches, people who we should definitely consider, people who were definitely not to be considered because they don't qualify, and people in the gray area. He knew a lot of the applicants personally, so that was good because he's in this business. He does this for a lot of towns. He's been doing this for a lot of years. So we were able to get some good insight, and we chose, I'm not going to give the number, but we chose a number of the applicants for our committee to interview, which will also be an executive session. We're going to do that on one day. It's a Monday. I think, I'll look at my calendar. I think it's March 10th. Let me check. Yes. So March 10th, I'm going to have to take the day off from work because we're going to interview all of the candidates that we chose to interview. And then at the end of those interviews, probably at the end of the day on March 10th, we will decide which of the applicants we will send to the select board. And he's recommending that we send between 3, 4, or 5 applicants to the select board. Then those people become public and it's then in the select board's hands. But we have some really good candidates.
Oh, that's excellent. Let's
We
have,
have some excellent candidates.
so we have a diverse, Adam, I see your hand. You'll be in a second. Do you have a diverse pool of people or?
Yes,
Okay.
I don't know if the Trump administration will allow us to do that, but
Like common sense
it
says
is-
that you have
but
a
it
lot
is-
of good people
but
to
it is a
choose from.
diverse pool and an inclusionary pool, even among those that we chose to interview. It's diverse and inclusionary.
Adam, you had a question.
Yeah, Paul, I'm curious, as the planning board's representative on the committee, what criteria is most important to you in your judgment?
I am not really looking at it from a planning board point of view. I'm looking at it, we have a, we have set in the Needham Charter criteria that are actually pretty strict. It sets out in our charter that we're looking, that our town manager has to be somebody who has at least a bachelor's degree in town governance, preferably a master's, and has extensive experience already in town government. So, you know, we're not looking for somebody who's going to be their first foray into managing a town. We need somebody
With experience.
with experience, not necessarily as a town manager. We had some who were not town managers, but you know, the next level down, who were well qualified because they've been doing that for many years. We had quite a few who have been town managers for multiple years. In smaller towns, one larger town, I think.
So let me rephrase if I can. What experience is most important to you in your own judgment?
I'd like to see somebody who has already been a town manager in a relatively large sized town. We as our consultant explained, people are looking to move up. We don't get applicants for lateral moves. We don't get applicants for people who are already a town manager of a town that's, between 30 and 35,000 people with a budget of more than $200 million. Those people are not going to be looking to move. The people who are looking to move are the ones who've been managing much smaller towns, smaller budgets. They've hopefully already have moved from a very much smaller town with a smaller budget to a medium-sized town with a medium budget, and now they're ready to make the move to a town the size of Needham. Personally, what I'm looking for, I'm looking for another Kate Fitzpatrick, which we're not necessarily going to find. Well, one of the things we talked about, I don't think I'll be talking out of school on this one though, is the applicant a politically motivated person, somebody who's really, playing politics with the select board or the other boards in town, or is it somebody who is really just focusing on getting the job done, as Kate was?
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Question, Paul,
Justin.
and I respect that that you may not be able to answer this, but are all the applicants external of Needham, or are they in any internal applicants? You don't have to say the number, but just are there internal applications?
I didn't know if to answer that.
I don't think I should answer that.
Yeah, I don't think we can say.
I don't think I should say.
Stay tuned, Justin, is what I'm hearing.
That's just all. That's okay. I thought that was fairly innocuous,
Yeah.
but that's fine.
I had the same question, but I wasn't sure. Yeah.
I think it's
I'm glad
innocuous.
you asked it. Yeah.
I thought it was vague enough to just, but anyways, that's fine. I respect that.
Looking forward to seeing what happens. I mean, I know that we canceled our March 4th meeting, right? Because we didn't have enough agenda items, but we have March 18th and we had added the March 27th for this public hearing. And then April 1st is the next one. So we have a lot mid-March in April.
I can give it when you're. I can give a quick update on the large.
Sure, that's great.
We'll have our 4th meeting coming up this Monday. We've looked at or analyzed, let's say, 15 houses, and we filled out, let's say, a survey form of certain things we've noticed about the house, observations we've had about the houses, and those are Alex is putting them in a matrix to kind of pull all the responses together, whoever visited those houses. Then the working group for is meeting this Thursday to look at that. Then on Monday, we'll be going over the responses and trying to figure out what criteria for at least non-conforming lots we're going to measure. How we're going to measure a house for bulk, for size, for height. So we'll be talking about that Monday. And so I don't know any, none of us really know any more than that, because we all visited them separately. We haven't been talking about it all. So Monday night we'll talk about what the results are in individual surveys we filled out.
That's great.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Adam.
Alex or Lee, could either of you please email me the summary of the research that was conducted for what the other towns? I'd like to see that list of what criteria you researched with researching with other towns for the dimensional regulations.
Alex, that was a table we did.
Yeah, I think I sent it to you already, but I can.
Yeah, I thought we had.
Send it to
but we
all
can
of
do it
us.
again.
Yeah, I'm interested
Yeah.
also. And then how do
I'll
we,
send it again.
it's on Zoom, right? The meeting will be also by Zoom?
Yeah, it's also by Zoom. Yes, also.
Because how do we get the Zoom invite for that? It would be under the planning board?
It would be on the agenda for that meeting.
Okay,
So they usually running 7 to 9 p.m. first Monday of the month.
okay. Justin, you have a question also?
Yeah, have we looked at, or has there been more conversation toward looking at a fiscal impact analysis?
That is part of the agenda, where that is a line item on the agenda. We're gonna form a group, let's say, quote, another working group to look at the fiscal analysis.
Okay. Got that involve an external consultant?
That's-
Leah, I think
I
so.
think the group is gonna discuss that and make a decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm gonna try to join also by Zoom just to hear. So, Paul?
Artie, are you shooting for having something for the fall town meeting?
If we can, we will. All I really can say is, I mean, that's the goal, if to have something then. But I'm just gonna let the facts dictate, or the results dictate when can we can effectively bring something to town meeting. That's the most important thing. Effectively bring something to town meeting that will actually have a change. have an
Yeah,
impact.
it's not, if we're looking for a fiscal impact, you know, you have to hire somebody, you have to put it out for bid, I assume, you know, we're probably looking at May 2026.
Yeah, I mean, if it is, it is. I mean, the most important thing to me is that we get it right. Do it right. That's at this point, that's all I'm caring about. Get it right.
Okay.
Have-
Uh,
sorry.
The April 1st meeting will be my last meeting. So let's pass around the menu for what we're having for dinner.
That's right.
Oh, Paul, we're gonna miss you.
We're definitely gonna miss you, Paul.
Yeah.
And not just for your legal sharp wit.
I don't know if Justin's giving you like a high five or if he
No.
has a question.
No, one of the things, just for the rest of the group, and maybe Artie, have we thought about what our statement will be as we have been asked to report back to May town meeting? With regards to Large House, we have an obligation to report to town meeting about our progress about Large House. Have we thought about what we would say and where we think we're going to go, et cetera? Just kind of, coalescing around that, because that's going to obviously be a board decision or a board opinion.
I believe that's a line. I believe that's a line item also this coming Monday. I mean,
Okay.
almost every meeting we've talked about the fact that we need to have a report ready for the May town meeting.
Perfect.
So
I think
it's absolutely on our minds.
And I think we need to socialize whatever that committee comes up with the board, because it's the board that
absolutely.
has to be able to.
Oh, yeah.
Town meeting, not the
Absolutely, yeah.
subcommittee. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I can imagine it's just going to be a summary of what we're looking at and how we're looking at it.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks, Art.
Details will be lacking, in my
Perfect.
opinion.
I like that. That's fine.
Great. Well, unless there are any other questions, I think I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to
Well,
adjourn.
Second.
I got it first. Yes.
Okay, already you did? Okay,
I did.
Artie and Adam seconded. All in favor, say aye. Artie Crocker, Justin McCullen,
Hi.
Bob, Art.
It's 7:31. Is this the shortest meeting we've had since I've been on the board?
It would have been shorter if I would have just muted everyone.
If you keep on talking, it won't be.
We would have gone out of here at 7:09. I'm kidding.
I
Yes.
said aye.
In every joke, there's a hint of truth. You know that, Natasha, right? And
course.
there's a hint of truth.
That's why it's
No,
funny.
We had a good conversation, seriously. Adam?
Paul, I'm gonna miss your comedy.
I'll email the jokes to you, Adam. You can deliver them for
I
me.
know, we need to.
Well, yeah.
I didn't realize Paul was trying to be funny. I really didn't realize that.
It's natural. It just comes out. It's not. He doesn't try.
Well, something comes up.
Oh, good.
Something comes. Something.
So I
comes
think I
up.
heard an eye from Adam. Thank you all. Paul, we're gonna do something and we're gonna miss you and we need more jokes.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.